The Battle of Kursk 2024. Over the past 72 hours, we've watched as Ukraine has launched a significant cross-border assault into Russia's Kursk region, initially viewed as another raid into Russia, similar to the previous Ukrainian operations in May 2023 and March 2024. It's become clear that this is something slightly different, particularly in its use of conventional Ukrainian ground forces. Just how different this new Ukrainian operation is from those previous raids remains to be seen. Despite our ability to only see a small part of what is occurring in Kursk, there are several aspects of this new Ukrainian operation which are apparent. This is a multi-brigade operation. At least 2 Ukrainian brigades have been identified so far, the 22nd Mechanized Brigade and the 82nd Air Assault Brigade. These are both quality formations. It appears that unlike in the 2023 Southern Counteroffensive, where fresh brigades were employed, the Ukrainians have allocated experienced formations to this attack. This already appears to be paying dividends with the depth of the Ukrainian penetration so far. But if we can see 2 brigades, there may even be more allocated to the operation which are ready to assume the lead on the advance into Russia. However, this will depend on the operation's objectives and how long Ukraine thinks it can sustain its attack before Russian defenses are able to effectively respond. The Ukrainians have attacked with a highly mobile, mechanized force. This is different to the Russian dismounted attacks into Kharkiv in recent months. A high level of mobility is essential to creating or exploiting gaps in enemy defenses and rapidly exploiting such gaps. Speed and shock action are vital, but mechanized operations create a larger logistic liability than dismounted action, and armored vehicles can be harder to hide in open warfare. And after a few days of constant operations, they also need maintenance. This reinforces the need for second echelon forces to conduct forward passage of lines operations to assume the advance. You can read about this very complex undertaking in a previous article on passage of lines here. The Ukrainians appear to have deployed a significant amount of air defense capability. At least 1 Russian fighter aircraft and 2 helicopters have been claimed to have been shot down by the Ukrainians. There have been, as of this point, limited reports of Russia being able to use glide bombs or even large numbers of drones to counter the Ukrainian assault. This is indicative of a more effective air defense environment for the Ukrainians than we created for their 2023 counteroffensives. It is also probably another outcome of the surprise and shock generated in the Russian command and control network by the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians have penetrated a good distance into Russia. The map above, from Blackbird Group, shows the currently estimated penetration of Ukrainian forces in Russia on at least 2 axes of advance. Main and supporting efforts are unclear. However, the situation remains very unclear and Ukrainian forces could be much deeper into Russia than shown on the map. The situation will remain dynamic for a while yet. That said, this probably constitutes the biggest advance by any side in this war since late 2022. By comparison, the Russian advance into Kharkiv this year penetrated about 8 kilometers into Ukraine. Ukraine has achieved surprise. This is an important theme to note given the obsession of some with describing this war as a transparent battlefield. This again shows that the modern battlefield is far from transparent and that deception activities, Good intelligence and surprise are crucial elements of modern war. More importantly, the Ukrainian cross-border attack shows that surprise is still possible and that offensive operations are also possible despite the prevalence of the defense in the past year. I'll be writing a separate piece on surprise in the coming days. As with all major operations in war, we need to consider the strategic context and strategic or political intent of such operations. The 2023 Ukrainian counteroffensive had both political and strategic objectives. This latest Ukrainian offensive into Kursk will as well. What might they be? The section below is speculative, given that Ukraine is yet to make any substantive, official comment on the offensive yet. At the most basic tactical level, this operation will be about seizing ground and destroying Russian ground and aerial forces. That is the central role of ground forces in war. But these are tactical tasks. It is the operational and strategic purposes of conducting operations to seize ground and destroy the enemy that is interesting.